though? Oh,
What
I
up?
think you hit the same button. What up, though?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
What's happening? We missed y'all last week.
I know.
Good people. Did y'all miss us though?
We twitching.
I need some reassurance. If y'all miss me.
Right. Some interaction, some attention.
Right.
Anywho, what up, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Crucial Convos. It's your girl F.L.O.R.
And this is your boy I Emery.
So today is kind of special.
A little bit.
We are speaking about transparency and accountability. So I remember you and I had a conversation and we was talking about topics and you said, why is it so hard for people to accept accountability, right? So of course, you know, I'm logical. We know that, right?
You know.
So everybody is like, well, what do you mean by accountability? So let us break it down so we no longer
right, because so there's no confusion.
No confusion because it's only one meaning. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the fact or condition of being accountable. Responsibility. Simple. It's just, Mom, I broke it. All right. You gonna be my ass? I gotta take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta eat that one. Like, hey, you know, I think it's messed up as siblings how they just throw the other one under the bus and just be like,
oh, you know, Olympia used to do that, man. God, Olympia used to snitch every time. See, I'd be like, how do you know?
We do that. We will hold it. Because I was the oldest, so I would hold it over their head. Go do this for me. I'm gonna tell mama.
See, I would rather that.
That was me.
Olympia was like, as soon as he come in, Emery, God, dog. I thought we was cool. I bought you the Cheetos paws when they just came out. You remember the little quarterback?
She even got the reward and snitch.
Man, Tia was the snitch for you, Kia. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I used to get it. But at first, I didn't know it was her, though. I'm just like, how did this man know?
Always know.
He used to be like, the Holy Ghost told me. I said, that man ain't told you. Ain't told you nothing.
Yeah, he used to go deep, yo.
Yeah, he did. He used to try to wear on my little emotions. You know, he got me.
What? No joke. So accountability is just the art of being responsible. Again, yeah, I broke it. Like, I dropped it. I cheated. I stole it.
Plain and simple.
Yo, shit.
I mean, that.
Period.
I don't think there's a better way to put it.
Yeah, I said you was fat. Like, I mean, because ultimately nowadays they got recordings and they record everything. They record themselves going to the bathroom. So if they can record themselves going to the bathroom, they're going to record a conversation between you and them. Okay. There is no limit if they're going to go that far. So if you think anything is confidential,
it ain't.
Tisk on you.
And then we got the screenshot queen on our show for us tonight, who can tell you a little more about keeping track. Hi, Sister Kia. Amen. Hallelujah. Where you at?
I'm tired of you throwing my girl under the bus that way.
I mean, you know.
Telling your business.
Yeah. She's the queen. The queen. Look. I keep 3 seats. Yeah, I'll let you do.
She said she keep them. And will help others. Like, yo, this how you do it.
Yeah.
This how you take care of that.
It's supposed to lie. And that's what's so sad. Like, I don't know. Lying goes hand in hand with not taking accountability.
For sure.
You know?
And the omitting. Like, you know, people feel like,
I know.
Because I don't say nothing, it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So, like, no, it's the same thing. Like, you not owning up to it and having, you know, the SWAT team come bust your door down and she just sitting like, WTF, now everything that she done worked for is compromised. When all you had to do was just say, this is what happened, I mean, for real. Like, and they be going mad wild, like they don't even care. So we kind of combined it. So I wanted to also speak about transparency.
Mm-hmm.
So you got that one?
Transparency is the quality of allowing light to pass through so the objects behind can be distinctly seen, or the quality of being easy to perceive or detect.
I thought that was kind of self-explanatory.
I like that.
I didn't really feel the need to go deeper into it. If it's not for you, just be real and say it's not for you. I think a lot of people get the concept of being real misconstrued with being rude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
These days, yeah.
Right. Like, I think that you can go to a person and have a transparent conversation and a real conversation without destroying that person, if you will. And they can, I would receive it more if you came and was like, Misha, like, yo, like, we're gonna go to CVS and get you some mouthwash because,
I got some gum in the car.
You know what I'm saying? Things was a little crooked, All I could do is be like, thank you, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't think you're doing this out of malice. I would hope that you were just being, transparent and being my brother and making sure that everything with me was good,
Yeah.
But it was a word that I heard earlier, emotionally undeveloped, that I have to take into consideration because, I think once I think about that, my patience would grow.
You would think, huh?
Yeah, I'm hoping like that's
I feel you.
A goal of mine, because that's a really good way of looking at it. Because I'd have just said you stupid, right? I'd have just been like, you're dumb.
Okay.
Like, honestly. Mm-hmm. So the way that she broke it down to me was more intelligent than the way that I was approaching it. And I like her way better. So I'm taking it.
What's up, Bobby?
Bobby, what up?
Kia says it's only rude when you take it personal and get offended instead of accepting constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's only rude, because some people definitely are rude in their delivery.
Constructive, right?
Right. While being constructive, like I don't think just because it's true that it needs to be said how you say it. It's like I always say, if my lady asks me, do I look fat in this dress? I can be like, yeah, because you do look fat in that dress. Or I can say, like, I like that purple one better.
Just
you know what I'm saying? She'll know. She'll know exactly what I'm saying. And it won't hurt her feelings and this is for anybody, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a way to say things. Like I've been in arguments and will say things differently because I know what I'm trying to say, and I know most things, and especially in an argument, don't bother me when you're trying to be a little snippy. But I know it does bother a lot of people. Yeah, so if it's true or not, you can be like, you sound stupid. You can't say that in an argument, unless you just don't care. You know what I'm saying? Is there is there a better way that you can look at that? That sounds better. No, I'm saying that sounds better than saying you sound stupid.
I'm receiving it.
Yeah. So yeah, how kids say, you take the only out. That's my thing, because it's not only rude, because some people are just rude.
Just rude.
I've been there. I still am sometimes, to be honest. I get in my own way sometimes and get to talking and whatever. And they come out brash and harsh. And
my main job, they are really, really rude. Like when we're just there to help them, and they're just extremely rude for no apparent reason. So that's a large pill that I have to swallow because I can be rude as well. So, while I'm oh no. Um while I have my professional hat on, you know what I'm saying? It has taken a lot of growth for me to get to a place of saying, I understand that you may be frustrated, but at this time, I need you to hit this right and then going on into this class, So I have to turn on my personality in overdrive just to calm them down and let them know I'm professional, sugar, but we could get active, So
just in case you was unsure.
Just in case you were wondering, like I could flip it, but I prefer not to. So
yeah, Keith says yes, word choices are important.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Because like I said, you can be 100% correct, but how you like the actual words I'm telling you how I was raised, but I can't even use that I'm grown now, you know what I'm saying? But how we straight shot throughout the whole house. You look gay. We put them earrings in. That's what my daddy used to say. Stuff like that. I'm like, dang, number one, that's not acceptable nowadays anyway to say it. But if you did, there's a better way to say it. You know what I mean? Because but so even in the midst of that, of us, trying to, say things differently and word things better, the transparency part comes in when you can admit yours. That's where we'll tell a few stories that don't make us look too bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the ugly stories about how you messed up a relationship, we don't talk about those out, not in public. We don't talk about your role in the demise of a job, you had a good job for. We don't talk about what we did. It's usually everybody else's fault, which is why transparency in this context goes hand in hand with accountability. Because you're not being transparent. You don't talk about your role. You don't talk about what you contributed to the.
They know.
It's always them.
Right.
And I've even said plenty of times too, in a breakup of a relationship or a job, whatever, usually somebody's more wrong than the other. Usually. But it never gets talked about. Your role, we don't talk about it. We'll say well, I wasn't perfect in it, but, and then there's a but.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of really being transparent and really taking accountability for your role in it. But you got to be self-aware to even do that. And that's our problem today too. Most of us are not. Most folks that do all the quoting and the positive affirmations and stuff like that are not even really truly self-aware. And it's extremely hard to even have a genuine conversation because in their mind, well, I've done work, I'm better than what I used to be. I don't know I know what you get now, and it's horrible. So that's what I'm talking about.
But it don't stop though. I refer to your healing journey is the same as a recovering addict's journey.
Yeah.
It's gonna go on forever. You're never, in my opinion, truly healed from extreme trauma. You just manage, you cope better, you find tools to get through it, you can talk about it, you know what I'm saying? But you're still triggered. It's still days where you can just find yourself, curled up in a ball, debilitated, and you know what I'm saying? Not functioning because of the things that have overwhelmed your mind.
Yeah.
So it's it's an ongoing battle, on and on and on, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see what Bobby said?
What did he say? Oh, I'm probably gonna laugh or make a bunch of jokes about it.
No, the one before that.
Uh-oh. You got a new baby on the way. Oh, well, congratulations, my brother. Look at there. Congrats, man.
Hey.
All right.
I had to give him love.
Yes. No, that's what's up, man. Congratulations, man. I'll give you a call after our show, man. We can chit chat a little bit.
All right. So what we do have tonight is a wonderful, beautiful, special guest that we got tonight. She posed a question on her Facebook page, and I thought it was very interesting. First thing I did, y'all know, was called Emery, right? So,
you gonna tell them how that conversation went?
I'm definitely gonna tell y'all. I called and I said, Jasmine posted a dumb question. Emery goes, what? I told him the question. He said, I don't think that's dumb. I said, you wouldn't.
Man, so rude. See what I'm saying? Rude.
We continue on the conversation, and as y'all always know, I love entertaining the other one's perspective because I don't know it all. I just know the way I feel about it. So I reached out to her immediately, and I was like, "Are you willing?" She was like, "Of course." So, without further ado, guys, can you all welcome? I done known her. We both have known her for over 20 years. Not
over 30 years. We were, I remember.
Not aging ourselves, but
right.
Welcome to the show. Hi, Jazzy.
We need some applause.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. Of
course. Thank you so much for being here. So, guys, some of you probably didn't see what her question was. And her question was, is it a red flag for a person over 40 to have never been married? That was the question. So let y'all marinate. Is it a red flag for a person over 40 to have never been married?
Okay, so look, before we go to explaining how we feel, I want y'all to you guys to comment if you think it is or not. Mm-hmm. And then also, Jazz, if you could tell us where the question came from before we gonna explain, go into
deeper. So sure. So it was just while in dating. So I just kind of put that caveat in dating. Do you feel like that's a red flag? So the question came up just kind of shooting the breeze with some coworkers, and they were talking about Valentine's Day plans and different things that were going on and dating. And so the thought just kind of came up, and I said, I'm going to ask Facebook and see what they think about the question. So,
so
the responses were surprising. I was so happy with how transparent everyone was, but to see, the differences in opinion that were, broke down even by race was interesting, and even by gender. There was some different responses by gender, but it was a great feed, and everyone pretty much stayed positive and above the line, right? Okay. but I love having those types of candid conversations because I think it helps us to better understand where people are coming from, and
how did the breakdown go when it comes to just men versus women? Yes, no.
Men were split. Most men were in the no. They didn't feel like it was a red flag, but some did say that they thought it was. But with women, pretty much everyone said no. It was not a red flag. For women that look like us, everyone said no. Other races of women said yes, it was a red flag. So I kind of found that interesting because I kind of thought on a subject like this, it probably would just split, men and women, no matter, race, would probably be along the same line. So that was kind of interesting to me. And even at different ages, it was still the same. Most people felt that it wasn't a red flag. So
Okay. So Misha, how do you feel?
So
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's a red flag, for the simple fact that marriage is not everyone's end all. You know what I'm saying? Like some people want to get financially stable on the point of there is no goal, so they just continue to go and go and go. And by the time they look up, they're 42, 43 years old. So it's like now, oh my God, do I want this family? Do I want this child? Do I want to take the time to settle down with somebody? They're so used to being able to just up and go and travel. And then I also look back at myself and be like, should I have waited? You know what I'm saying? Like, would it have really hurt, me to have waited and really put everything into me? But that's hindsight looking back, the selfish me now that I'm done with everything versus the selfless me when I wanted everything. You know what I'm saying? But my response was no. I don't think it's a red flag. My husband said yeah, though.
No, that's
My
interesting.
husband said yeah.
Oh wow.
I don't remember
I
what
think
his name was, but he said
I think it. My opinion is it definitely can be. I don't think the reason of you not wanting to be married matters at all. I don't. I think if you're in your 40s and dating, if y'all, I don't mean cut buddies. If you're in your 40s and dating, you want to be married for the most part. I'm sure there's some extreme examples of it not being that way, but by and large, I would argue that you want to be married. Or at least be with a longtime partner. We got new names for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna just say married.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and because like you, after you first asked me, I was cleaning up. I think I was doing the dishes. I don't know, putting food up. I don't know. I was like, yeah, I think it. I mean, I won't say 100% yeah, because it wouldn't be for me necessarily. But for most people, most men who I'm around, I could say yeah, because it says to men, and I would think women as well. At least some of the women that you haven't figured out how to keep the opposite sex happy, or how to keep the opposite. You know what I'm saying? That's what it says. I don't think it says that you haven't found the one. I would doubt in your 40 years you haven't come across a man or woman that's not worth marrying. Now, maybe you weren't mature, maybe you missed it, maybe you weren't ready, maybe y'all was in different places. There's a bunch of variables, but I'm not even trying to go into that. I just wouldn't say it's because I ain't met the right person yet. I would look at it more realistically, like I'm sure I may have missed some. I may have missed a couple somewhere. You know
But
what I'm saying?
it's very rare to hear I've had him, but mishandled him or her.
Oh yeah, you don't hardly hear that. I've only maybe heard it maybe once.
I don't think I've and then every time I tell you, you be like, you're different. Like it's the honest to God truth. Like
Yeah.
It is what it is. But I feel like in that situation as well, you kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, because a lot of people find it a red flag that if you're divorced over 40, and haven't remarried, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a hard teeter-totter.
Yeah, I feel like it's a yellow flag, not necessarily a red flag. I just think it's something that you need to look into and kind of deep dive more, because it is a different, everybody has different reasoning and rationale for it. So I think it's more of a yellow flag. But it does say to me that you've never been able to commit to someone on a certain level by that time. And I mean, that does make me wonder about what your level of commitment would be. Are you able to prioritize someone else's needs
over yours
ahead of yours
Woo-wee.
on a consistent basis, like daily, monthly, weekly, yearly, decades, right? Can you do
absolutely.
that? And it's something, to me, there's something to that part. But it doesn't, I don't think people should internalize, just even saying that that's a a red flag or a yellow flag. But I do definitely think it's a yellow flag. But some people definitely think it's a hard red.
Now, so I will say this as well, and this, oh man, I'm gonna try to word, I'm gonna try to word it right. I know she hate when I do this because I don't want to be, because I know how I talk, and it's gonna come out like I'm talking to you and not the masses. So I don't want that. I feel like the harsh reality of life is that men's marketplace value, I'll say, increases the older we get when you alls don't.
Right.
Y'all's peak 20, 30, maybe 35-ish.
Yeah.
Per se. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go into no extreme examples, but just realistically,
no debate. Yeah.
That's just kind of how it goes. And so because of that, if I see a woman that's 40 and has never been, everybody, I haven't been proposed to 3 times. Yeah, where's the commitment? Because to me, and I don't even resent the fact that some people feel like if you were married and divorced, that's a red flag. My red flag ain't gonna be yours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that question to me reading that question says to me, like if I'm 40 and a woman was looking at me as a suitor, would it be a red flag that I hadn't been married? And I would say yes. So, but I'm not sure if we take it that way. It appears as if the bulk of the commenters took it personally. Like I'm over 40. I ain't been married. Absolutely no. Right? Like, absolutely no. There's no way, because that means I'm a red flag, and I'll never admit that, even though I got a few. I'm not gonna say it out loud. I'm not gonna, and that's what I mean by being self-aware. I don't think it's settling to be transparent, because like it ain't gonna change nothing about you. If you told me, Jazz, I'm 42, never been married, that ain't gonna change how I look at you.
Right.
Even if it changed how I looked at you, even if it did, it wouldn't change you. Like, you're gonna still get up, go to work, do your life. How you doing? Right. You know what I mean? So being honest about it, about things, or even just taking a second to let it mull over you before you instantly respond. Because to me, that's a big question that deserves a big response. You know what I'm saying? And not just the automatic no, because that means I'm a red flag, basically.
I mean, I just had so many more questions behind that, which is why no was my initial answer. Because now I need to sit down and talk to this 43-year-old and ask him, like, what has happened in your life to cause you to not have been married at this time in your life. And I do think a lot of people don't even get to the questioning part. I think once that initial conversation happened, it's like skirt, and then they just run straight.
Call it, girl, let me tell you.
Man, he got a lot of money, but no, so it's like the money shouldn't have been what drew you in anyway. So because that's what you were leading with, that's why you got disappointed. So that's kind of weird to me.
I feel like it's a, kind of like I said, like a yellow flag, possibly red. But I think, like you said, have the conversation, but they may have a lot of other qualities to where you may say, okay, well, they had married to this point, but they seem serious about, being committed to someone at this time in their life,
Yeah.
Sometimes people just don't make it a priority, they make their career priority. And one thing I say, and this may not be, but a lot of times we don't think about our lives in phases, and we sometimes mismanage our 20s and 30s.
Oh, my mama.
And it's a painful thing to recognize that you may have possibly mismanaged your 20s and 30s, but it's not the end of the world. I think
Right.
you've got to start with that realization that, hey, I might have mismanaged my 20s and 30s. So, hey, let's get clear about what's important to me now so that I'm prioritizing that in my 40s. And
Yeah.
if that is marriage, then, am I doing the things? Am I the type of person that I would want to marry?
Have
That's huge.
Character traits, etc.
That's huge.
Have they done the work? Because once
Right.
you get to that part in your life, it's a lot of garbage that you got to make sure is thrown out that you can't necessarily take into this new house, So,
Right.
like when you say, are you what you want?
Right.
I don't know if I don't. Sure, you could say I mismanaged my 20s because I was mothering, all of my 20s. But it's like now I'm almost 43, and what mattered to me now definitely didn't matter to me then. So,
Right, and priorities change.
oh my God, completely, because
Our
the
priorities
responsibility changed. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like now it's about me. It's no longer
right.
They had all of me, and they're doing what they need to do for them.
Right.
So
I definitely think we mismanage. We don't think we don't really, as much as we try to, we don't really think long term all the time in our 20s, especially. It's, even if we're, students and studious of our time with everything, we still do some stupid stuff because we just young and dumb. You know what I'm saying? Young and dumb isn't specific. Everybody, your mama was young and dumb in her 20s. My dad, their mama, my granny, like that was a thing. You know what I'm saying? And what usually happens is we have kids by horrible people, and then we blame the horrible people for being horrible people the whole life. And we don't really stop enough to look at what, we allowed it. We, during this period of our lives, this is what happened. And so there's a consequence that comes with our actions. But especially, I remember when Olympia had Jazz early, she was like 16, and my daddy was like, "You ain't going to the prom." That was it for, oh my God, But he's like, "No, you're gonna watch your baby. Like you know what I'm saying? Like this is your thing now. I'm not spending no money for this. I'm not doing that. This is what you're doing." You know what I'm saying? There are different things, and then because of that, I'm sure if we pull her on here, she'll be honest and say that she missed some things because she had a kid. You know what I'm saying? And I do think that can be taken the wrong way, and we'll get more defensive. Like, I had my baby, so instead of saying I had my baby, you know what I mean? Like more like I blew it. Like I had an opportunity where things could have went this way or left. Right. And you don't have to harp on it, but you do have to acknowledge it and accept it. I think you have to acknowledge that and like use that while you're explaining your life. Don't negate that part.
Yeah, and I think you can reframe that. I had my child young, and what that allowed me to do was grow and mature to where she's a woman in her 40s that probably has the mindset of someone much older because she went through different things.
Olympia, absolutely.
Faster, right? And so it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Sometimes we have to learn how to reframe things in our lives, like Tony Robbins says, things don't happen to us, they happen for us. And we have to use that, use those things that were, kind of looked at as whatever, as fuel to get to where we want to be. It doesn't always have to be a negative,
I agree. It does not. And Olympia is definitely more the most mature of us all.
Yeah, and that's what happens, right?
So there are definitely, there's pluses and negatives. I think, excuse me, not even speaking about Olympia. I think just in general, we don't look at the things that's happened to us as our fault. There's somebody else to blame. It's always somebody else's fault. My daddy wasn't there, mama wasn't there, granny, whatever. I grew up broke. We had metal detectors in our one high school. There's I'm telling you, we will. It's so easy for us to go that route versus looking inward, and so then we have this kind of inflated view of ourselves that's really unrealistic because we haven't owned this part or these parts of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always like, well, I was young. When you're young and you do some stupid stuff that warrants jail, you go to jail. That's that consequence. You 16 years of life is gone, whatever, because of your retarded decision when you were 16. And so you missed out on the McRib and the little stuff and the bigger things like cell phones. You know, like that was a consequence. I said the McRib because I've been eating better and I'm so hungry and I saw one. Listen, I'm so hungry, man. I was just all right. Let me get back to my point. Sorry, I had to deviate. No, but we do miss out on so much that we have caused. Not necessarily, but it's not totally all our fault. But if we don't look inward at all, that's where I feel like our problem is. That's where we get the overestimated view of ourselves.
Yeah, my dad told me when we were young, I mean, he beat us over the head with this. And it was basically our choices have consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And he was serious about that. Like, super, especially when we got into our teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
Our choices have consequences,
Yeah.
And, we got tired of hearing it like, oh, yeah. But, as we got older, like, well, Daddy was right,
Right. I see it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We've got to take accountability first for our lives and our actions, because we can't create the life that we want if we're not responsible for it. We've got to take responsibility first and own it, right? And then we can create whatever we want from there. Wherever we are today, we can make it so much better, but we've got to own it first. We can't do anything till we own it,
I agree 100%. I'm going to get over here to a couple of these comments.
Yeah.
Kia says, it's not a red flag to me because marriage isn't everyone's goal. That's kind of what you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby says it depends on the state of mind of the individual. He says, if she's blaming the opposite sex for not being married, then yes. Okay, I see. Okay. Ned says he's on the day before he gets on the rehearsal. Denise, my coworker has been engaged 4 times but never married. Would never marry any of them. Now she's older and says she's not interested in being married and is too old for kids. She's content being alone. Now, I've said this type of thing before. Not so much about the being engaged a bunch, but when we don't adapt and change our lives, if we want to stick to this protest of I'm perfect or I'm not that bad, and then if things don't work out, you kind of force yourself to be happy being single. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't be happy single, not in that way. I'm saying because we refuse to make the necessary changes to our lives, our personality, how we reason and how we react to things, that fact has made us force ourselves to be happy being alone. And I don't think we all, those of us who are that way have to be or had to be that way. That again, that doesn't mean you should be just miserable, like, oh, I need a man, I need a woman. Definitely not saying that. But I do believe that a lot of us have, allowed ourselves to get that way because we haven't fixed some of the necessary things that need to be fixed.
I agree wholeheartedly. As I tell you all the time, if me and Eric was to ever get divorced, I'm never, ever, 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 ever getting married again. Never, because I don't want to consider what the next person enjoy. I don't care about learning you.
No pickles on this burger and no pickles.
I will give you a whole jar of pickles in the bread and tell you to figure it out. Like, I don't care. And maybe it's because I've dedicated so much time and effort and work and attention and, reconstructing, and I don't have that energy to give it to somebody else for another 20 years. Like, I don't.
especially after raising my kids.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And understanding and learning what I like and who I am. And that's a lot of work coming out of motherhood to back to womanhood. That's confusing and it's tiring, but it's required, because if not, then you're going to consistently chase after your kids when they leave and go start their life, because you've never learned how to separate the two. You know what I'm saying? No.
Oh, that's huge.
That's what happens. Like that's what I'm consistently saying, you know, and now you want to challenge the girlfriend or the wife because you haven't learned how to construct yourself. So now they're the only things that make you comfortable. I'm smooth on that. They're annoying.
Yeah, well, it's the thing is the mom identity is overpowering, right? As women, a lot of times, if you don't have a strong enough identity yourself prior to adding that title on, I mean, you just absorb.
I think that's huge, Jazz.
Yeah, that's the issue, and I see it in a lot of women, even to where they feel they lose purpose. You know, after their children are no longer minor children and are grown, because they don't feel significant. These people they don't need them the same way, right? Yeah, and so you have to process that and then get back to who am I? Who am I outside of mom, right?
Yeah, wow.
And and I think a lot of people just haven't done that work.
Right.
I had my son a little later in life, especially by VH standards, right?
Boy, listen, you won. You won.
So it's all jokes. But I was 28. So that was back home. That's a geriatric pregnancy, right?
Right nowadays.
So I had time to kind of develop myself, and who I am. I built my career out and all that kind of stuff. So when I had my son, I had a strong identity established already. So I got the covering of mom, but I still had this piece. Right. And I think a lot of times, if you start the process younger,
right,
you just haven't had that time to build all of that part out yet, right? Yeah. And so the mom title just,
consumes you, and it does. And then a lot of people feel like if they do attend to themselves, then they're neglecting their children, instead of understanding that you're just keeping yourself on a healthy path. Because once you get to the end and you try to correct it, then, like I said, it's because what Jazz said, I was a stay-at-home mom. I was the one who, I was mom. That's all I was. Yeah. So now that he's almost 23, she almost 22, babe about to graduate, I had to figure out like 2 years ago, what do you, and it took a while.
That's great. Congrats for doing that work.
I appreciate that. So now here I am, almost 2 books later, and podcasts, and everything else that I have going on. Finding my purpose was actually refreshing, because I wasn't only here to be a mother. So that's like, all right, I have more to do. So someone else does need me. They do, but just not to the degree of what they did, Yeah.
I've seen it so many times when the mama be so involved with the kid.
Yeah.
They young grown, but they grown, and the moms can't really let go. They want to be involved. Oh, that girl ain't good enough. I believe that they genuinely believe they're doing what's right. I don't think it's like a purposeful, like they're trying to keep their kid back. But like Jazz said, the mom identity, I guess, or the daddy identity too, maybe, is overbearing. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like you say, like, what are you if you're not a mom or a daddy? My girl asked me a little while ago about my kids moving out. Is Emery gonna move out? I said, oh yeah, absolutely. She was like, you ain't gonna let. I said, oh yeah, he's getting out. He's going. She was like, you love your. I love her.
Right.
I don't know a better daddy myself. But no, they getting out.
Right.
They gotta go. Like, I did my job.
Right.
But see, I think I looked at it that way the whole time. I looked at it like that. No joke, y'all. My whole time, I'm not like I'm rushing it. I don't want, He's 19. This is it. This is
But
last
it's
year.
your job to prepare him for
I have to get you ready. And then you think you got it. So go on out there and see how much you know. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be here as a little safety net a little bit, but only a little bit. I want you to bust your stuff a little bit. I need you to hit your head and find out how it feels to not have no tissue in the house. You hop around looking for Burger King napkins because you mismanage your money. I want your lights to get cut off a couple times so you understand what's the priority. I need, that's what helped me.
Right.
I mean, and now clearly everything that happened to me doesn't have to happen to them. But that didn't hurt me. That made me make sure these lights ain't gonna get cut off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like those are things that has to happen. I don't want them up under me. And then I think it is easier because I got boys. I mean, I'm sure it's easier because I got boys. I probably would be, I'm sure I would be a lot softer if I had a girl. But I don't. So, you know, they gone. I want to, you know what? I did my role, especially with Emory, has changed. I'm still daddy in title, but my role is more coach. It's more coach now for him.
Right.
My bad. I couldn't. I don't want to say I told you so, but
Yes, you do. What you talking about?
I told you so.
What'd you tell me? So
you was like, I'm dad. Like, I'm dad. I was like, right, bro. I get that. But to a point, it comes where you can't father him anymore. You can only guide him. You can only, as you say, coach him. I love that word, coach. Like, that's all you can really do. You can mentor him, but you can't father him because that portion is done. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that the hard way. Like, my daughter left. But my son, he's the oldest. He hasn't. You know, so I had to learn and get to a point to where this it. Like this right here, like this is it. Because if I continue, I'm making it easy for you. Like you're, never going to go. So now that you left, like you said, the safety net was here. You came back. You're figuring it out. But this time the door locked and the lock changed and the peephole was covered with black spray paint. So I can't even look up to see who you is.
You got to make the nest uncomfortable because
I have to.
If it's too comfortable, they'll stay and then they'll ruin their life. They'll ruin your life.
Yeah,
and of course that's my.
You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going a little bit.
Where we at?
I'm still up toward the top. Kia says, I agree, Emory. I definitely met the right person many years ago, but I was selfish and I wasn't completely honest with him. He definitely was the whole package, but I messed that up.
Ditto, boo.
That's what I mean by, being transparent and say, come on, everybody wasn't just horrible people to you. You messed some people up. As good as a person as we may be, we missed the opportunity. We didn't do right. We didn't, like you said, wasn't honest enough. Still selfish, whatever. Those types of things will keep us grounded. If we remember that we're not perfect.
Right.
Like genuinely remember some examples of us being not perfect. Not just saying the blanket statement, but knowing how we've messed up some things, how we know we weren't supposed to be driving on them expired tags and got a ticket and went to jail. Mm-hmm. That was our fault. You can't come on now. Don't blame nobody. You know what I'm saying? So now you got a record. Now after they ask you on your job application, you got to do that's your fault. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by owning and taking accountability. Things like that has happened to us. Now, some things obviously isn't our fault, but they're still ours. You still have to own it. Your new employer don't want to hear what happened at your house and how Miss Betty didn't do this right for you. They don't want to hear that.
Could care less.
They don't care.
They don't.
They want to know what your stuff is. The requirements. So, yeah.
Why you not here?
We got
shoot on down to hey Shamara.
Oh hey.
Denise had a good question.
All right. Kia said, I definitely mismanaged my 20s. Mm-hmm. I think with my bad decisions as a teenager, it makes me willing to always have those uncomfortable conversations with my daughters. I try to be as transparent as I can with them.
Man, that's dope.
That's me. And I think it's because I did hold on to a lot of secrets that ended up hurting me later on. So I wanted to always give them a safe space to be able to come and vent. Again, you're not making the the determining decision, but I am going to hear what it is, how you feel, because like you always say, I wasn't heard. So because I wasn't heard, let me hear you. Okay, you feel heard. No.
You know still no, they ain't changing. Right. No.
But
I heard you out. God bless you.
Like I did acknowledge your feelings.
I acknowledged your feelings because you matter at the end of the day. Right. So I heard you, but no, KOS to bed. Period.
Night.
Denise said, I asked this too. Would it be seen more as a red flag to be divorced rather than never married? I asked that too, girl.
I think that's a really, really good question to ask too, though. I think it would depend on who's looking.
Right.
You know, like it wouldn't matter to me necessarily if you were divorced. I think it would say more to me if you were divorced, just to be honest. Now that I'm saying it out loud.
Something.
When I'm saying, huh? What'd you say?
Why?
Because you were able to commit.
Okay.
You know, now in a marriage, you know, things don't work out. You know, maybe you committed to the wrong person.
You know,
because it definitely, So it's not necessarily all your fault per se, but y'all make the commitment at a certain point, like. Mm-hmm. And it also says somebody liked you that much or loved you, whatever word we put on it. Mm-hmm. They wanted you that bad that they wanted to commit to you, and you agree. You know what I'm saying? I think it would say more to me if you were married and divorced versus never married at 40. I think it would say less if it was 2 and 3 marriages.
Right. I think that matters.
Honestly.
And then also, I think it depends on, again, have you done the work? Are you healed from the divorce? Right.
Yeah.
I think that matters as well, you know. And, you know, kind of back to the original question, you know, for me, you know, my preference, and, you know, I'll caveat this because preferences sometimes block our blessings.
Man.
Right?
Amen.
But my preference is to date men that have been married before.
Okay.
For me, I've noticed that they have a higher level of emotional intelligence, usually. And again, this is just my dating experience. I can't speak for everyone. This is just my experience.
Yeah.
Men that've been married before tend to have higher level of emotional intelligence, and they usually have better communication skills.
Okay.
So
that's what's up. I never thought about it in that way.
Well, it will make sense because they've had that experience. You know,
and the girl been on you don't listen. All right, baby, what's up? You know,
like
at least that much. At least that, yeah.
I call it teaching, you know, but I don't want to sound, you know what I'm saying? But that's ultimately what it is because someone has taught him how to treat that next one. You know what I mean? So that's awesome.
It is teaching. I don't think it's a bad. I don't like that stuff though. You're definitely teaching. You can get taught by somebody else, you know. Yeah, you can get checked. Tell you're doing too much.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
This is what it is.
Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just kind of the thing to me. I just feel like a lot of times you have to go over the same things over and over again, or kind of explain yourself. Where what I've noticed with those guys that have been previously married, a lot of things are just natural, and I'm kind of like, oh, you know, they understand, you know, certain things, and I was like, wow, that's, you know, pretty cool. And I don't know, you know, like you said, I know we don't like the word training or whatever, you know, oh, they've been trained, right, you know, but in a way, you know, they were in a relationship, a long-term relationship, and they learned in that relationship how to put someone else's needs before theirs, right. You know. So I, you know, it was just something I realized over time. I was like, oh wow, you know, I kind of look for, that's me always, it's the engineer in me, I always look for patterns, right?
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
And I was kind of like, oh, there's the pattern here, you know.
I've I guess so. I've never even looked at it like that. But it's like even how you said earlier, Jazz, you was like, what was it? God dog it. It was about just how Okay, just come back to me. Because I really can't remember.
So.
I am. Because you just said it. I didn't want to cut you off. Man, whatever. It'll come back.
Was
It'll
it
come
about
back.
emotional intelligence, or were we talking about something?
Maybe so, because I feel like I was going towards how men respond, how we respond to y'all. I can't remember exactly. It'll come back though. I'm sure it will.
Carlton said, Kia, I am the same way with my children.
Oh, about being transparent with them.
Being as transparent as they can be. Ned said he can't lie. He got 3 girls.
Yeah, he's definitely transparent.
Guys, that's Ned.
That's Ned. Hey, Ned. What's up, bro? You at rehearsal yet? That's my dog.
And then Kia said she agreed with Jasmine about the dating divorced men over never been married.
I'm trying to get that point I had, Jen.
I definitely think I would want someone divorced because I wouldn't want to teach. I would want to teach you about me, but not
teach you about you, not the overall construct, I think, of a committed relationship. And I think that's what they know, right?
There we go.
They already have the structure of a committed relationship down, right? But they still have to learn you, right? But when you have someone that's never been married, I think you're learning all of that. You're trying to learn because you don't know what type of relationships they've had. They have never had a long-term committed relationship before. So it may be a lot of things they just don't understand about even what's expected, from that type of relationship. I'd like to hear from you every day.
Right.
Well, I didn't have that type of relationship before. I called when I could, right? Or whatever, so they're not used to, hey, I didn't hear from you yesterday.
Hey, not right, man. Don't do that no more.
Right,
okay,
so it's just things like that.
That point came back as can you put someone? You said this. Can you put someone else's needs
before
in front of yours on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis? And when the older you get, and the longer you go between committed relationships. Or one if you've never been committed to that kind of relationship. And then, like I said, the older we get, the more comfortable we are doing things exactly how I do it. It's like we have our life. And we got a little space over here. We're going to fit our man or our woman in that space. We want to make them fit here. It's all I got for you. Versus, creating letting the space be created for them because you don't even know how that goes because it's been you and your kids. It's been me and my kids. They're the constant at this point. I've tried it a couple times, tried it a couple more, and it didn't work. So this is my constant. They're the priority. If I ever get a new man, I'm fixing my kids' plate first. Or the kids come first in the marriage. I'll be like, what now? How's that gonna work?
Yeah.
But the older we get, the more comfortable, the more routine we are, the more we like stuff exactly how we like it, the less we are to compromise on our wants, not even the need stuff, just on the stuff that we want to have. And that's what makes it so much harder, you know what I'm saying, to date someone older, like our age and up, who has never been that committed. And just having a long-term boyfriend or girlfriend is not the same. Especially if y'all ain't
go home, right?
Right. Y'all get your own places. You can get mad and not talk for 2 or 3 days or weeks. You know what I'm saying? Versus where you got to come home.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I was married. I think we were married like 13 years. I slept on the couch when I wanted to. It wasn't one of them types. So that means I'm getting in the bed. So some kind of way we got to make this thing decent to go to sleep.
I ain't gonna talk to you for you to get in the bed. Get your
you talking to me. You gonna talk to me because I need your leg on me, and
that's the issue.
It's coming. Put the leg over there so we can go to sleep.
That's the problem.
Put the leg over here.
Touch me because we ain't talking, shorty. So
no, we finna talk a little bit. Nah.
Your cold ass over there. Leave my warm leg alone.
No, or I'm gonna fight. Put your head on the cover.
so crazy.
No, but that is a real thing. Can you put somebody else's need? That's really the most important thing because it's not even most relationships, in my opinion. I would argue this, no joke. We get stuck in the "this is who I am" or "this is who I am" state.
Right.
We just keep getting stuck there. There isn't the merging, or it takes us to, or we don't stick it out long enough to get to that point.
Right, to work to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it should be. It shouldn't be how I feel over my chick. I should put her first. And if she's doing the exact same thing, we're going to be good.
Right.
That's the thing. But if you haven't learned that or been taught that,
right,
then you're going to put yourself first. And you'll kind of put them first a little bit here and there. But overall, I'm putting me first.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Two independent people, right? And we're coming together to become interdependent.
Right.
And I mean that's the key. We want interdependence, not independence.
Right.
Well, yeah, me saying I'm never getting married again because I don't want to go through that process. Like that's why I don't want to go through that. So I get
that. Lauren.
I do too. I mean,
I'm touching. Give me that leg so we can go to sleep. Let's go.
See, Emery the type of person that y'all end up falling asleep in the headlock because you're gonna fight.
Like you get out right in the way, like you can do nothing.
Like so, it's just gonna be a whole bunch.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna have to talk. I'm gonna make you laugh or something to ease the tension. I don't like that.
But it's like, why I can't talk when I'm ready to talk? Why I gotta be forced to talk?
Because I ain't sleeping on no couch. Give me that leg.
I sleep on the couch.
I'm gonna come out there with you. Then you're gonna be mad at that.
That's typically how marriage go, though. Like
it is.
That's typically how marriage goes. Like the individual.
You have to force that stuff because if you're the type that lets contention sit there and build,
right.
The other one can't be that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Which means the other one who's not that way is gonna have it harder because they got to deal with you always harboring until you're ready to break that. Until you can see that it's not helping y'all. Right. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to have that part of the relationship very, very hard. But that's still a part of him choosing you over himself or whoever is the one that's doing it.
Create it, right.
Which is a thing that we can't get to because it's me. And the longer we stay single, the longer we do life exactly how we want. This is the spot I got for a relationship.
That's true.
I've seen it where I can say this. I used to talk to this chick. She could only talk for like 3 hours. Like there was a 3-hour window a couple times a week.
Oh,
I'm like, this ain't gonna work.
So that was her bandwidth. She had
she only had that little spot.
2 days, 3 hours.
Yeah, something like that. I'm like, that ain't gonna. No, I mean, okay. Because because I'm too old to be. I don't do that.
Wow.
Like, I'm dating with a purpose, or we ain't, or and that's fine. We can just go our separate, But I couldn't take it because she was trying to fit that. This is what I got for a relationship. Just you ain't ready because that's not nobody. The men who you think will take that really just want it from you. They want sex.
Mm-hmm.
They'll put up with that as long as they can, as long as they can get it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're giving it, they'll take it. But then you're going to see how you're being treated. Then you'll usually how it goes. This is why I only get this little spot. I'm going back in my corner. I'm like, no. You're going to keep missing out because that's not how life goes. I know that's your safety mechanism or what is it?
Defense mechanism.
Yeah. That's how you get down to keep yourself safe from things. But your wall has become your cocoon. The wall that you've erected to protect you has now become your coffin. I'm sorry, not your cocoon.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't break out. And you want some perfect guy or girl to come and break through your impenetrable wall to get you ready to be. I'm like,
you got to do that work yourself.
And I'm 40. It's like, come on.
I mean,
Never mind the fact, in my opinion, that the guys that they want to get to that point is not emotionally healthy enough to handle the baggage that they're bringing for them to break through that wall. They will instantly throw that red or that white flag and be like, all right, like I'm done, because you're requiring way too much. And I'm not even comfortable digging this deep for me. So for you to dig this deep for you, it's I can't even fathom getting there. Let me read this question right quick, or this statement. So Denise said, when you posed this question on Facebook, you said responses were split. Was it split because of the point M made that people internalized the question as I'm not the red flag? So the response was no?
I believe so. I believe that people really internalized the question. And it brought out a lot of emotional responses. And it was great dialogue, but it was very emotional responses. And a lot of people said that due to life experiences, either growing up, watching marriage, growing up, or just dating experiences, their life experiences, they've made the conscious choice to remain single. And so that was an underlying theme in the thread. And so my thing is, I feel it's great for anyone to unapologetically choose their life and the life that they want to live. Yeah, but I think that you need to make sure that your choice is rooted in being healed and whole. And the decisions are not out of a triggered or trauma response. I think as long as you're living unapologetically for you and you're whole and healed, great. That's wonderful. But you just don't want to make those type of life choices out of brokenness, right? I think that's
real.
But I'm grateful. I'm grateful that today women do have the choice. Men and women have the choice to live their life on their own terms. Our parents, our grandparents, they weren't. They weren't allowed to even have these types of thoughts to stay single if that's what they choose to do. It was always what was wrong with them, right? So I'm grateful that we live in a time where you can make that choice for yourself. But I just feel like, just make sure the choice is being made out of a whole and healed place.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. Sometimes if you grew up and marriage was horrible for you, it can have the adverse effect. You can be like, oh, I'm never doing that.
Right.
Whereas some people in the same house, some siblings in the same house could see that and say, I know what not to do.
Right.
It's really about your perspective, your personality, and how it affects you. You know what I mean? That will kind of have that determination. I also want to say, though, when it comes to these red flags, everybody got them.
Right.
That's kind of the most important thing to recognize, is that everybody has them. Maybe yours ain't mine.
Right.
Mine ain't yours, but you got them.
Right.
Which means you won't find anybody without them.
Right. And everybody has preferences. Same thing. Yes. You're not going to fit everybody's preferences.
Yeah. And that's just how that goes. I know I like little women, short women. I know all little women don't like big dudes. I know it going in. So I'm not hurt if they turn me down. I'm not like, I can get rejected. I ain't gonna call you out your name. Oh, you stupid. No. All right. That's what's up. But that's because that's my preference. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want. That's what I go for. And that's just how it is. But now what also comes with that is a lot of little, and I think black women, amen, hallelujah, is they think they big and bad. They tough. That's another thing with the little women. I've learned that. They think they tough a lot. It's cute. But acting like it's cute is offensive sometimes. It's the whole thing. So with that, just how we were saying earlier, sometimes our preferences can make us miss our blessing. Because we're not, looking at what's best for us. We're looking at what we want, what we've always desired or something like that.
Exactly.
And not necessarily getting to it. Lauren says, on a serious note, though, I'm working on it. It's not beneficial, and it often prolongs the energy. And that was in response to putting their leg on me so we can go to sleep.
Oh.
Like, of just, being able to just talk about the issue and not going to bed angry. Where Eric at? Put my nigga on the cam.
I can say that I have more maturity in the concept of just kind of grabbing my things and going to another room and falling asleep. And once I'm sleeping, he cuddle in. I don't really think about it at that point. I say he didn't let his guard down. So, okay, I won. Let me let my guard down.
Oh my God. What my boy? Yes, she mean that with her soul too. I know she do.
Not I won.
Then we be all good. Like, I mean, we are good. But I've actually had him come to me and say, I've seen the growth. Like a long time ago, you would have responded, but now I see you responding very maturely, and I don't think I'm there yet. And so I work really hard because I can't preach to him what he need to change if I don't present that change, if I don't be that example of that change. So a lot of times he'll just notice it, and then he'll be like, hey, I noticed that, you decided to do da-da-da-da. I want to join you, so exactly. I don't push no more. I don't.
Right.
I suggest.
And what is that, right? That you're operating in feminine energy.
Right.
What it is.
Right. Right.
And that's not our job, right? I mean, to do all this push and press. No, that's not our job.
You're going to get way further with me encouraging.
Right.
Fighting is like, that's me. I love doing it. I'm not offended by fighting. I don't get mad at a fight.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have to do it. Like I do it because I have. This is just me. I like that part. I don't want to do it with my lady.
Right.
That's the thing. And so when we're really not at a place to be able to let that guard down fully, and then like I know I've gone into every relationship since my ex-wife saying the same thing. I'm a lot to deal with. I need you to know that from the gate.
That's it.
I'm letting you know. Because how I live my life, I'm a man of integrity. No joke. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just not gonna do it. But that comes, and so many people say they want that, but like I hold you to the same standard.
That's right.
So the little white lies, the first couple, I'm like, all right. Then after I finally bring one to you, and you kind of overly defensive, I'm like, okay, I see how this gonna be. This is little stuff, and you can't even receive. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to it. I know my strengths, and I know a bunch of my weaknesses, and I really want better for myself. I just know that in that process, I'm gonna be a lot.
So you come with a disclaimer as well, then.
Absolutely, because I don't want you to feel like in 6 weeks you see a whole nother guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be great, I'm sure, for the first couple. That's always nothing. The first few weeks is always just how how was you raised? Tell me about your mama. Tell me some of your plans you want. Stuff like that. It's little stuff.
Top level, yeah.
Until you get into some of the real deal stuff, you know what I'm saying?
It's the sexy part for me. Is that weird? Because if you can actually dive into you and you can convey to me your story, that lets me know that you're in tune with you. You feel what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's a turn on for me to be like, all right, let's talk more. Because now it's interesting. You're not surface. Yeah. You have a little bit of depth to you, and I'm not surface at all. Like we all know. Like I'm finna dig deeper and deeper. Lauren, I feel like from the comment that she said, "Be the change," got it. A lot of people that I've talked to, women, sassy women, as Emery would call us,
All right, don't be putting me out there.
When we have the capabilities of fighting with our words and we're really good at it, we tend to use that overboard. But I think what that does is make a man get to a point of knowing that that's a trigger, but in a good way. Like he make that a good trigger. So when the arguing start, I'm not going to say ignore, but I'm going to say like rub his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like diffuse. Like, because if you ignore, as Emery said, I'm going to follow you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they do. Like, because they want to get that out. But don't feed into the argument. That's what I had to learn. That's the point I got to where, okay, I feel it. I hear what he's saying. He fishing. Mind you, I'm on TikTok. So I'm kind of hearing them, but I'm really not. But I feel this.
Right.
No, I'm not.
Phone out your head.
Like,
you scrolling, I'm talking to you.
So I know, like, you know, he getting hyped. So I'll put the phone down on his face. You know what I'm saying? And I'll look at him. And, you know, okay, apparently you need my attention. So you need eye contact. Okay, here you go. Okay.
I hope you don't say all that.
No, do you need yeah, because
where my boy at?
Yeah. Sometimes you can have a conversation and you don't necessarily need eye contact, right? You can just talk because you're just venting, right? Then others you need eye contact because I'm really talking to you. Like I need you to pay attention and understand that I'm talking to you. So, do you need eye contact or no? Yes. Okay. So I feel that energy, and instead of me just being combative, because that's what he's used to, and that's really what he wants to get his point out, I just lay that foundation for him to just eventually get to, because you're going to only argue with yourself for so long, right? Before you feel like, what the fuck, right? Like, that's only going to. So then we get to a point of, I just know that when you sassy and you used to being sassy and you can fight really well with your words, that becomes your armor. But when you're growing, you have to learn how to re-armor yourself. So you have to get yourself to a point to where you stay centered within your healing and don't let nobody waver you from your journey. You feel what I'm saying? And the only way that you can do that is to find tools that work for you. I'm just giving you some suggestions because this is what I had to go through. Sometimes I'd be a little spicy and be like, oh, you ready to fight? He'd be like, no. I thought you was going to bow out. I ain't ready. But for the most part, we've been, you know, together for so long to where.
And that's the growth part of it. Knowing that how you get down don't work.
Right.
Knowing that, not like, let me try somebody else, but knowing that how I get down.
Him being comfortable enough to vocalize that. Because if he never said that it made him uncomfortable or it made him feel some type of way, I would have continued to stay on that because I was good on that. You feel what I'm saying? But because he was like, yo, you yelling at me, that's not going to get you the response that you want. That's not going to get you the result that you want. Come to me, talk to me. So it was like, all right. So instead of me coming back with the sass, I had to, in a sense, out-mature him and really sit there and just be quiet and listen because you asked me for this. But I'm going to take it up one more notch because I got to work on me. I got to make sure that I don't let your bullshit waver me, even if I'm in a mood, right? Because that's really when I get active is when I'm irritated or whatever. But for the most part, I've learned how to just argue and then be like, you ready to go get some food? You know, versus hoarding it, you know, versus just, all right, don't put your leg on me type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I've learned, the face, it don't work. He's gonna bounce from the living room. He gonna go back to the room. He gonna follow me to the bathroom. So when Emery said that, that's why it was so funny to me because that's exactly, it's just a part of them that it's their routine. It's what they're accustomed to. So just because you mad don't mean you finna interrupt my sleep. In my opinion, is the way that they look at it. Like, girl, I love you and I need you. You just mad right now, but you will be all right. Like, give me that heat. Give me that. Eric said, give me that warm. So it'd be funny to me.
Maybe he talking about a little something else.
Oh, shut up. That's just you.
Not tonight.
That's just you. I'm listening because this is my fatal flaw. Because I'm a lawyer at heart. I'm ready for closing arguments at any time.
Yeah, you got to cut that out, Lord.
Yeah, so you
That
be
ain't
on
gonna work.
automatically, like, because you good at what you do apparently, and you know that. So you just be like, challenge me, and I'm finna swallow you. that that's gonna be a forever fight for you. But of course,
Yeah. How I was saying earlier, though, Lauren, to your point that the walls that we've erected to protect us can unknowingly become our coffin.
and you will die in it for real.
Like real talk, we can say, "Oh, I've had to be this way because I'm a whatever your excuse." We can say all that, and you can use that initially. I would say as your what's the word? Not coping mechanism. Yeah, coping mechanism. You can
Yeah,
use
that's it.
that as your coping mechanism, but that should be for that period. It shouldn't be your new way of life. At a certain point, you'll go, okay, I need this right now to protect my heart, to protect my sanity, so I can live. I still got to work, got to cook for the kids, blah, 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 whatever. So right now, I need to do this. But you can't have nobody around. You need to be you until you get to a better place. Now you're decent. Now you start working on yourself a little more, things of that nature. But what often happens is we kind of meet somebody else during that time when we're starting to be guarded.
Distraction.
And then, we kind of, we building that with them, and then our guard gets let down a little bit. Then something happens, and it goes up higher than it was before. Yeah. And then we go back, and that cycle repeats itself. And we always say, "I'm just gonna not date nobody. Everybody has said that. I'm just not gonna date right now." And then let somebody come around, and we jump back in. Stuff like that happens, and it kind of just makes us. It just kind of makes us too hard. And for women who want a man, that's not cool. Men don't want that. Not from their woman. We want you to have it in case it's needed, but not against me.
Right.
We need to be back to back fighting the world. If we're not back to back fighting the world and you fight me, that means there's people behind you and you leading them now.
Right.
Because we're messing up the whole natural order because of our excuses, because of our justifications. Our justification is I've had to be this way. I can't let nobody get over on me. I'm a single woman. I'm a black woman in a male-dominated industry, so I got to do that. Whatever your reason may be, if those types of things, in my humble opinion, don't change, you'll be in the same place you're at in 5 more years, and then in 5 more. You know what I'm saying? Like realistically, nobody wants you exactly how you are. That's another thing. Nobody but God. God said, come to me as you are. But even after he gets you, he going to change you. So that being said, understanding that we just need to be realistic and be ready to be, what's the word? Malleable for your relationship. I don't mean change your personality or change your core beliefs. Not that way. But don't be so, it's got to be this way from your past. Because you're looking at stuff from the lenses of your past relationships. Either from your mom and dad's relationship or something you've seen growing up or from your actual relationships. So now you got this whole new set of guidelines from Bobby Earl, Bobby, Carl, and Earl. And you giving this to me. Like, I need you to do this. I'm like, nah. What? You can't do this? Well, then you have to wait. I got plenty of other niggas. Oh, okay, you need to go get them. Because it's unrealistic. You know what I mean? Like, if you want a man or a woman the same way, we get men, we don't heal.
No.
Often, we don't even start. We kind of go off of it. And I think you ladies picking this up. I hope y'all don't do this all the way. But the best way to get over one chick is to get under another. That's kind of how men move. You know what I'm saying? And all that stuff just keeps getting bottled up. And then it's also extremely hard for us to be vulnerable and talk with our ladies because real talk, it gets thrown at you. Y'all don't even know y'all do it sometimes. But it happens. And so it's like, okay, we can't even talk to you about it. So this is where we at. So, but men, and then we're broken and we're hurting and
right.
we haven't gotten any help. We just out here, and then our woman is rah-rah. So I'm fighting you, and that's not an excuse. I definitely don't take that as an excuse. But men, we don't heal. We need to. We need to take some time off from pursuing women and work on ourselves just as much as anybody else. It can't be just a guy's trip to Vegas or Miami, because you own women when you go on them trips. For the most part,
Right.
you looking around just like they looking around. You know what I'm saying? So let's just be realistic, man. Sit down and try to heal you, but you got to start inward. What did I allow?
Yeah,
I allowed Erica to do me like that. I allowed that. I saw her. I saw it coming, but she was so fine, or whatever I was getting out of this was better in the moment than cutting it off.
Reality of it. Yeah, for real. Y'all know how I feel about crazy being sexy till it's dangerous. Y'all know how I feel about that. So, I am so honored that you was able to bless us with your presence, Jazz, and your interpretation or your perspective of, everything that you meant from that post. Anytime you want to come back and chill with us and hang with us, you are more than welcome. Don't be ashamed.
I want you to.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your perspective is amazing.
Oh, well, thank you.
I agree.
It's very intellectual, and I'm the type of person where I'm gonna listen if I can learn. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not saying nothing that I can learn from, then 9 times out of 10 I'm probably not gonna receive it. But I feel like what you gave tonight gave me a different way of not calling people stupid or dumb.
We'll take it. That's a win, Jazz. You win it, bro.
That's
win it
there, right?
I got a nicer way of saying it now. So.
Yeah, man.
Thank you all so much.
For sure.
This is a very I appreciate hard. I like the hard questions though.
Mm-hmm.
I do
myself.
too.
I really do, because it makes me check me.
Yep.
That's
how we grow. We can't grow without the hard questions.
I agree, man, and that's why so many don't have it, because we don't really want to grow. Not for real. We want to get better at stuff, but not really grow and like get over things. We don't really get over stuff.
We've got to grow. Everything is growing. You're growing or you're dying.
Yeah, I know that's right. I'm trying to grow.
That's it.
Jinx.
But you have to have someone who can push you in that area too. Who can help you. Your partner has to be like, I don't need the rah-rah. That ain't gonna work for me. You can change my mind. How she was saying, just rub a small little touch will throw me off. For real. And like, so how I've adopted this over the past couple years now. Do I want to be right, or do I want the result? Because if I want the result, then I'll do whatever it takes to get that. So if my norm is to get mad and it's not getting me the result I'm looking for, let me try not getting mad. Oh, that didn't work. Well, let me try kind of getting mad. That worked. Okay, well, that worked for this instance. Let me see. Then I'm analyzing it. How did that go? I do a lot of autopsies in my relationships, just about how things go, to make sure that I'm trying to get it right. Because there is a pattern to an extent, but everything doesn't flow like that. You know what I mean? So I just want to figure out you and how I got to move with you to make this thing work, because I want to be better. I don't want to be the same Raggedy Emery I was last year.
So it's crazy you say it like that, because I say I don't care about being right. I want to be heard. I want you to hear me so we don't have to continue to revisit this. So, you know what I'm saying? I ultimately we're saying the same thing, but it's just crazy to hear someone else say that, because everybody is so focused on being right. Oh, but it wasn't my fault. Oh, but it was his fault. Okay, but what do you do to not be neither one of y'all fault, and y'all don't even have to have this conversation again? That should be the ultimate outcome, in my opinion.
A lot of times, okay, babe, we'll shut most of it down. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, okay, babe, yeah, I didn't. Okay, they be like, they want to keep going a couple more rounds. You're right, okay. And then once things calm down and y'all get to a calm state, if it still bothers you, talk about it then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Once things is cool, once y'all cooking together or whatever. You know, hey babe, the other night you can't come in and talking crazy like you were talking all that mess. Don't start right back up. But like, yo, babe, the other night when we was talking and you said my feet stink, I just put no whatever it is.
Right.
But talk about it in those calmer times, because like, where's it gonna go? Like, you know, like y'all can both fight. That's improving. We can argue. We can get mad. I can say some hurtful stuff. You can say some hurtful stuff. Then it leaves us wondering, should we even try this thing or not? You know what I'm saying? Versus, do you want the result? The result is change behavior. So how do I help you get that? Because if I'm trying to beat you over the head and that's not working,
it ain't gonna register.
then I'm insane.
Right.
But for still doing it, you know? I've been trying to learn that.
Yeah, I know for me, it's just always me versus me. That's who I'm in competition with.
That's
Every
real.
day is me, you know.
That's
I'm
real,
working
man.
to improve me, you know. I'm trying to be better than me yesterday, me 6 months ago, me 5 years ago. And I try my best to acknowledge, you know, where I see that growth. If it's just the way I had a conversation, I didn't let that conversation bother me like it would have 5 years ago.
Right.
If you know I'm doing something now that I wasn't doing, I'm looking at something from a different perspective. Oh, that's growth, you know. And I think you have to acknowledge that and celebrate that, you know, because that shows the process, you know. And specifically on relationships, that's one way I've kind of reframed mine, because I mean, you all know I've been divorced. You know, I am divorced. And then I've had relationships. And, you know, when they don't work out, sometimes we get down on ourselves, or, you know, we get sad about it. But how I've reframed that is like, hey, with each new relationship that I've had that didn't work out, after I analyzed it, I chose better. There was an improvement from relationship 1 to relationship 3, right? Relationship 3 was just a better character quality individual. So what does that say? I'm growing. I'm choosing better. It may not have worked out, but I am choosing better. So there is improvement there. Keep going, keep growing, and it'll work. You know?
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Keep living. You will reach it.
That's it.
If you take care of you for me, I'll take care of me for you.
Yeah.
For real. I remember when my kids was growing up, I used to tell them all the time, like, I got y'all. Like, I got y'all, but who got me? When I come in and need the trash taken out, I shouldn't have to vocalize that to you. That should, automatically, because we've been through this. Like, why is the dishes in my sink? So I think now that they're getting older, they're understanding when I said, I got you, but who got me? Because now I'm exhausted and I'm sick because I've went overboard to make sure everything is A1,
Yeah,
man, if I had a sledgehammer for every PlayStation that
you be breaking PlayStation?
No, I value my life, but
I was gonna say now, Jesus.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
She was super dope, and I'm happy that I did reach out to her.
Me too. This has been so much fun.
Cool.
Having me.
We're crazy.
A little bit.
We're crazy, girl. So
yeah.
But for real, anytime, like, don't be surprised if you post another question and we just make that post a topic, because we enjoy the depth that you go to. You know what I'm saying? So we'll probably always be like, hey, yo, Jazz, like, we read that. Let's talk about it, because a lot of things.
You won't say it's stupid next time, right?
Right. You sure did. It's a stupid question.
I might.
You see this
what was it? I missed it. What she said that was stupid. God damn.
I mean,
that is hilarious.
It was just the initial feeling that I had.
At all. That is hilarious.
I know. It was the initial feeling that I had, and when I actually heard him kind of give me that different spin, I'm like, well, it could mean, because I never really look at it like a person can't commit. I don't know why, but that's not my initial.
Well, it hasn't been your situation. And so we live our reality, right? I mean, so, that hasn't been your situation. But it's a lot of people's situation for, fear and a lot of other reasons. But yeah, it hasn't been your situation, so you probably hadn't thought about it.
And I never. So when he gave that to me, it was like, oh, okay, now that makes a lot more sense, now that I'm reading it or seeing it like that. But yeah,
that is hilarious.
I'd have been married forever, so it's like, no, some people shouldn't be married. That's the way I'm looking at it. So
I agree with that.
It's too, like, so yeah. But it was a really good post, So I'm happy that I did feel that way because it caught my attention. You know what I'm saying? And I immediately called Mr. Mean Butt. So he was like, I'm working. I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, that's what it was. You was like, you got time? I was like, yeah.
You got a minute because I need to talk to you right quick. Like,
I was like, come on. I do remember that now. I was working.
I don't care. Like, whatever. I'm a job too.
Right. No, right. You talked all that mess. You made me put my leg on you. That's what that was. That was the equivalent right there. Are you busy? Yeah, I'm working. All right. Let me tell you.
Well, it worked. So
it worked. It definitely worked. Good stuff, Dad, man. We really appreciate you being on. Really appreciate you being on.
So don't be surprised if we be in contact.
I know that's right. Call you back again.
All right, baby.
Yeah. All right.
See you later.
Thank you so much. Well, that's what's up. Another successful one.
It's another one.
Yes.
So I was finna say now it's time to say goodbye to all my Negro friends.
Right.
Oh, I'm so funny. No, okay, so tonight what we really wanted to convey is that being upfront and honest is definitely not a bad thing. It may not go the way you want it to go, but it will be so much more beneficial in the long run because you're not hiding anything. Ain't nothing gonna come back and slap you in the face. You're gonna be upfront and honest about whatever it is that needs to be, spoken about. Yeah, spoken about. What happened?
What happened to what?
I'm sorry, y'all. Denise said, "What about me? What happened, boo?"
I don't know what she's talking about. She'll type it in there.
I know. And another thing that I feel like we have really uncovered is the fact that healing is not just
All right.
Oh my God, I'm so weak right now.
God, a mess, girl.
I love you to death.
Denise, you are something else.
You fit in. You're there.
She's one of them too, though.
You're there.
Okay, she know it.
Yeah, I know. You have to rearmor yourself once you get to a point of healing. You can't continue to heal with the same armor on. And work. So as you go in your different stages of healing, you should be able to peel off your chest piece. All right, you move to the neck, you should be able to peel off your leg piece. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to continue to act out of that armor, out of that protection. That's what I really want y'all to take away.
I think for me, I want us to understand that we're not that good of a person. And I think truly understanding that will allow you to take accountability when you mess up, not if. I think the major reason, one of the major reasons why we don't take accountability We don't think that what we did is wrong because we don't think we're that bad of a person. We think I wouldn't have did this if you wouldn't have, type of thing, and that's the usual response. I wouldn't have did this had you not. But yeah, I did that, but you still had a choice in your response. So we're talking about you and your response. Well, if you wouldn't have, yeah, we're gonna talk about me in a little bit. Right now we're talking about you. And that's the thing. If we truly understand that we're, overall, definitely, I'm sure most of us are good people, but there's a lot of ain't crap in us. It's a lot in us. There's a lot of how we have, built ourselves to move, and how we are now. That's just not cool. And so, with that, once we truly understand that we're good people, but we're not that good, we will understand that being accountable is a good thing. Not it should only happen when you get backed into a corner with so much arguing back and forth, arguing. Now we finally made one point that you can't argue. Now you say, "All right, I'm sorry." That's not even taking accountability. It's not. That's you try to talk and you want the conversation to stop. And being transparent will also allow you to it comes with a mindset that allows you to be accountable. When you're transparent and you can admit that you've done stupid stuff, and not just that blanket statement, like give details, use examples of how stupid you were, like full on. I don't mean it's like, yeah, I went to jail one day. No, talk about it. Talk about how it made you feel. Talk about how it made the people around you feel, how embarrassed your family was, blah, blah, blah. All of that is what's transparent. And with that mindset, it will help you, in my opinion, be more accountable. So that's what I really want you guys to take away from this.
Juicy.
In that order.
All right. So, as usual, it's been another great Crucial Convo production.
Hey.
I am your girl F.L.O.R.
And this is your boy I Emery.
And we will check y'all out next week.
Yo, we out this thing.
Damn.